Hello and welcome to Vicky Makes and Builds. This is my first puzzle video of the new year 2022. A happy new year to one and all. I hope it's a good one for you. Right. I have now, I apologise for the sort of the stark background. I've now moved house and I have a shelf on order to put behind me here, but it's not arrived yet. So I'm hopeful that the next time I do a video for you, it will be slightly less featureless in my background. But that's not really the point anyway, is it? Because we're going to do a jigsaw puzzle today. So I've got one I'm rather looking forward to today and also a little bit anxious about. It is not only the first puzzle of this new year, but it's a first generally on a couple of counts. So I'm doing a Ravensburger puzzle. It's my very first single solid colour puzzle, and it is one of the crypt puzzles. Yes, I don't know why I hesitated telling you, really. I'm just really nervous about doing it, I guess. But anyway, it's the bright pink crypt puzzle. I know there are different colours. I think you can get gold and silver and black. Oh, and there's a new gradient one out as well, isn't there, I think? But I've had my eye on a crypt puzzle for quite a long time. I knew I would do one at some point. One or two people have commented on one of my other videos and said they'd like to see me do a solid colour puzzle and the crypt would be a really good idea. So I have bitten the bullet and I've purchased myself the pink one. I really do love this shade of pink. It's just so bright. And, you know, I don't think I'll mind looking at it for long stretches of time because I've no doubt that this puzzle might take me longer than your average puzzle. Yeah, I just really like the look of the pink one. So I went for this one and I'm going to have a go at it for you today. Now then, oh, what I also have for you today as well, but at the end of the video, I was going to just give you a sneak peek of some of the other puzzles that I have purchased recently that I have planned to do for this year, the year ahead. And there's not hundreds of them, but I've just got one or two that I'm really looking forward to, and I wanted to give you a quick look at those as well, but I'll do that at the end. So with this one, I don't have a strategy as yet. I kind of figured that when I did my first solid colour puzzle, I would sort inevitably by shape because you can't really sort by colour or texture because it's all one colour. So I sort of figured I would do it by shape. But with the crypt puzzles, obviously you have a slightly different layout if you look a bit closer. In fact, I'll turn it around because there's kind of a map on the back of the puzzle, like a grid of the puzzle. But the thing I want to point out here is not which piece goes where, but the fact that in the crypt puzzles you have this large circular area right in the middle of the puzzle. And obviously the pieces are shaped differently to achieve that. And then you have the kind of the normal sort of linear pattern on either side. But not only that, I don't know if you can tell from this this footage, but not only that, but every piece is unique, and some have kind of double innies and outies on either side. And yeah, there's a lot going on in the crypt puzzle. It isn't just a solid colour puzzle and there's not much more to it than that. There's kind of funny shaped pieces and a circular aspect going on in the middle of it. So I'm not sure if that will be a help or a hindrance. As I say, I've never done one of these before, so I do not know yet if that's going to help me or not. I suspect if I'm sorting the pieces out by shape, that it'll become obvious which ones are the more curved ones for the circle and which ones go kind of at the edge of the circle, and obviously the edge pieces themselves. So I'm hopeful that it'll help. That it'll help me out with that one, but I don't know. Either way, I don't plan on using the grid at the back to so I know what piece goes where. I want to try and just do it just by myself, and we'll see how it goes and whether or not I've gone insane by the end. So really, there's not much more for me to say other than I will get this box opened right now for you and we will see what we have in the box. Okay. So, opening the box, starting with the cellophane. And I really love this colour pink. One of my prettier puzzle boxes. Nice bright pink. Okay, so, right, lid off. Wonderful. Ooh, look. Oh, this is so bright. That is brilliant. Right, well, let's get this out from under. Oh, it's an envelope. Puzzle guide. Okay, so I'm assuming that's possibly a poster. The same as the image on the back of the box, but I'm not going to be using the puzzle guide to do this puzzle, so I will leave that sealed in there. But that's good, they send you a guide. So, opening up the bag. And we'll get them out. They're quite big, these pieces. That's probably the largest corner I've ever seen in a puzzle that isn't a children's puzzle. But I think it's kind of like you have double pieces stuck together almost. So it's definitely unique, this puzzle. And definitely going to present a challenge with regard to sorting by shape. Oh, blimey. This isn't like any puzzle I've ever done before, so I really think I'm just going to have to take this one as it comes. I'll go through all of the pieces. It's obvious which are corners, it's obvious which are edges, so, you know, that is a traditional kind of aspect to this puzzle that I will take advantage of. So I'll separate those out, and then I'm trying to see if I can spot obvious kind of circular pieces. See, that's obviously maybe part of the edge of the circle. So probably we'll separate, I'll show you there over the table so you can see a bit better. I'll probably separate unusual pieces like that stand out from the rest in terms of shape. Yeah, I'm actually really looking, oh, there's another kind of curved piece and there. So I'm really looking forward to the challenge of this. And I'm just really eager to get started. So what I'll do just now is I will clear the decks and I'll sort the pieces, and I'll go through my sorted piles with you once I have finished. As I say, I'm sort of making this one up as I go along, but there will definitely be corners and edges and probably circulars. And then any further than that is unknown at this stage. So I will cross that bridge when I get to it. But yeah, really looking forward to getting started. Right, so I've done my first sort through the pieces. And the reason I say first is because I think I will do another sort, but just on one specific pile. But I will go through that with you when I reach that pile. So just to go through the ones I've got thus far, these are edge pieces. And the edge pieces come in all different shapes. Some are a bit more kind of normal like that. And then you've got a lot of the long ones. There's a few kind of wide sort of squashed ones, and they're sort of all different shapes, but there's a very obvious straight line on them, and it's obvious that they are edge pieces. You've got 4 very obvious corners here, all big square pieces, and they're the only ones with the 2 adjacent lines, so it's obvious that they are in fact corner pieces. This was quite tricky to sort. I wasn't really sure how to sort it until I started, but I managed to kind of get on with it anyway. That's in the wrong place. So these are pieces that are shaped like this, with the kind of the square bit on one side, 2 outs and 2 ins. So they're all shaped like that. So that's that pile there. This pile is all the same shape in terms of there's 3 adjacent outs and 1 in, and they are all like that. But again, you've got a lot of variation in the size of these pieces. That's a bit more of a normal size, and you've got quite a large one here. But I didn't really see the point sorting further by kind of sheer size of the piece, because the big pieces and small pieces seem to be scattered throughout the puzzle, so I don't think it would really help me in the actual build to have those separated out. So that is those pieces there. Then we have this one here, which are your standard shape piece and also standard size. That's kind of the most normal piece really that I could find in this puzzle. This is the same kind of in-out pattern as these ones, but these are narrow and tall, these ones. So I've separated those out, and also these, which are narrow and tall but oriented the other way. So that's those piles there. This one is all pieces with 4 outs. So very much sorted by shape, these pieces. This pile is 1 out and 3 in. So you have the 2 kind of square shapes in the corners. I separated this one out because I wanted to point out that there's some variation in the shapes of the outs, which I found encouraging, because, so like that one, it's kind of doesn't go in as much where it attaches to the piece. This one has a slight sort of rightward slant to it. And I just wanted to point that out because I'm thinking that will help me with this. Obviously, a solid coloured puzzle means that I've got to use really the piece shapes to guide me on that. And it was heartening to see variations in the outs and the ins, which would hopefully narrow down, which pieces attach. So I just wanted to kind of point that out. This pile here is all the long, tall pieces that look like it's 2 pieces stuck together. All ones like that. There's a few like that in the edges, but obviously they're in the edge piece pile. This is the pile that I wanted to come back to because it's the biggest, but it also has a lot of variation within it, and this is the one I'm going to come back and sort through again. I already did start to separate it out a little bit towards the end, but I do have to go through these pieces again. So this is the pile that I separated according to whether or not there was a curve to the piece, because that would indicate to me that it belongs in the circular section in the middle of the puzzle. But the reason I want to go through and resort them is because there are pieces that are very obviously curved that will clearly go right towards the center of the circle. And a lot of them are actually quite tiny as well, like these ones. Not big sort of tall things. They might be long, like that one, but they're a little more squashed. So I'm going to go through and make distinctions like that. And just separate that out a bit more so that I can work on the circle without having to kind of plow through a whole pile of pieces again. These ones are, again, part of the circle, but I've separated them because, I probably should go there, because it's obvious that they're in the circle. They're not necessarily tiny like that, but it's obvious that they go somewhere towards the middle, and they're triangular, so that's obviously to kind of maintain a circular pattern with the adjacent pieces. So I've kept to one side pieces with more of a kind of a triangular shape to them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this particular pile again, separate it out into pieces like that, and pieces that are slightly less obvious, but, perhaps do have a curve to them. And that'll be the sorting finished. My game plan for this, I'm sort of trying to work it out as I go along. My game plan for this, I think, is I'm going to start with the corners, and I'm going to just go through the edges piece by piece to see how they attach to the corners. I'm hopeful that they will be obvious when they slot in, given the sort of non-uniformity of the ins and out shapes. So I'm going to do that, but I'm probably going to go back and forth with the circular pieces because it is very obvious where the central pieces of the circle are. So I'm hopeful that I can use those to start myself off and then work out from the circle and work in from the corners. That's the best way I can think. So yeah, this is going to be a tricky one. Quite nervous, but I'm also looking forward to the challenge. So anyway, you've got a bit of an idea of my game plan. I'm going to go back and just resort through this pile, and then I shall get started on the puzzle. Okay, so I have actually used all of the tall edge pieces now, and the reason that I quickly became aware of is that they all actually go together. I actually thought the edge might have a mixture of kind of tall pieces with little pieces with tall pieces again and be filled in by the central pieces, but in actual fact, all of the tall pieces fit together. So the four corners are actually growing quite nicely. So yeah, so just going to continue on as I have been, but just wanted to point out that, yeah, I very quickly discovered that all the tall pieces went together. So coming along nicely. Right, so the edge is done. Hooray! So there was only once when I put one in the wrong place. I actually attached the top bit of the left side to the bottom bit, but I did it a bit prematurely. There was a few more pieces that should have gone in between. But actually, considering the variance in shape and things, it's actually quite symmetrical. But it is slightly different from top to bottom. You've got more pieces that make up the kind of the circular part at the top than you have at the bottom. And I am assuming I've got this the right way up. This might be upside down. I may have to check the grid for that because I'm not certain. But anyway, the way I have it right now is the curved bits at the bottom, there's less of them than there are up there. So that means the bits that link these tall ones with the curved bit, there's less on either side of that. Whereas there's like 8 of these small pieces between this bit and that bit, and at the top there's only 6. So as I was doing this, I used those facts to kind of recognize patterns. So when I was doing the bottom, I went from this end and I put together 8, and then I added this on, and I sort of knew then that there would be 8 of these as well. So and the same at the top, except I'd put in 6, and then I realised there would be 6 on that top end as well. And then I very quickly, I mean, there weren't many pieces left anyway, but I very quickly realised that these long kind of flat pieces were for the left and right hand sides. So you can get a sense of a pattern as you start to build this. Which is actually really, really helping. It's kind of like logic in the madness. But that's really helped with the edge, and I'm actually really pleased with how it's come together. But yeah, so now I've got a nice pink rectangle to work within. So now I'm going to take all of these pieces here and start to try and work my way out doing the circle. Right, so just a quick progress report. I'm now in a position where I can kind of spread the pieces out better and see each individual piece, because I've kind of put enough in the puzzle to be able to spread them out, which is good, because I really do feel like you need to be able to go back and forth between the different piles of pieces, because it's really getting to the stage where any piece could go anywhere. As you can see, the circle's got fairly big now, so the pieces are becoming less curved, but there are still some with obvious curves to them, and those ones I've kind of spread out in a sort of circular pattern. So I'm not kind of having to flip them over and things like that, and it's a bit more easy to kind of pick out the right ones. So it's coming along, but as I say, the circular bit, the circle in the middle, has kind of slowed me down a bit now. I did find a few curved ones that I put together and then realised they actually fit along this bottom bit. So anywhere I kind of see it and think, right, they must go beside each other, I'll put them together until I sort of figure out where in the puzzle that they go. I think you've just got to kind of take every bit that fits. You've just got to kind of act on it with this puzzle. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to continue with the circle, but I'm going to hop back and forth a little bit, because I thought what I would do is try and work a little bit on working out from the edge. These pieces are obviously quite sort of long and tall, and like this tall kind of narrow piece here fits in there, and I think I'm guessing that the right and left hand edges will mostly build out using these pieces over here, the long, tall, thin ones. And I don't have too many of those, so I'm going to kind of just try each piece and try and build that up out from the side and from the opposite side. The only other piece I can think it would be realistically, that might go there are these long, thin pieces. But again, each piece is unique, and, you know, there's only so many that's going to fit in certain slots, because you have different kind of patterns in the one in and one out, and two in and two out, and sometimes it's just one out on the side. So I'm hopeful that I can use a process of deduction to kind of get those side bits filled in. And really, the more bits that are in the puzzle, the less that I'm working with. And I think that's the way I have to kind of move forward with this. So, yeah, gonna just kind of approach it that way and keep chopping and changing, working on the circle, working on the edge, and try and take it from there. Really, I'm quite looking forward to the moment when I can actually attach the circle to the top and the bottom, and start to get more kind of smaller gaps that I'm filling in. But at the minute, it's just a big white area around this circle still. So yeah, but it is definitely coming together, and I think I've just got to be really methodical with it. I mean, it's slow. It's kind of a long periods of puzzling and only putting a few pieces in at a time. But, you know, I came into this knowing full well that might be the case. So I'm all good. I'm not getting too stressed with it yet. But, yeah, we'll continue on, and we'll just move about the puzzle a little bit and try and work around different bits, different areas of the puzzle now. So here goes. Right, progress report. I have actually made quite good inroads into working in from the left and the right hand side, to the point that I have actually reached the outer edge of the circle on both sides. So I'm starting to get some of these really funny shaped pieces in. I haven't really touched the circle since, managed to put a couple of bits in where there was a little gap. But aside from that, I've not really been working on the circle. I'm actually finding the circle is the hardest bit now, because, well, it's quite a big circle. There's quite a lot of pieces in it, and I'd say there's probably more curved pieces than there are sort of straight ones. And as you work further out, they're starting to look less and less curved, and there's too many pieces to kind of plow through, whereas these corners and the outside edges, I've got, you know, a more limited number of pieces that I have to work through. And I have been going back and forth, just testing, especially like these, you know, standard size pieces. I've got quite a few of those, and that's taken a bit of back and forth. But one thing I did find is that, or one thing I am finding out about this puzzle is that there's sort of a symmetrical aspect to this puzzle. So it's not the exact same shaped pieces on each side, but you do find that, say, if there's, like, for example, 2 long, tall pieces here, there is likely to be corresponding ones on the opposite side. Sometimes it might be just a long piece that doesn't have 2 notches in, but by and large, if, you know, there's a bunch of long, tall pieces here, then there's likely to be here as well. That is how I managed to build up the corners fairly quickly, because I got this kind of corner bit in, and then I was looking for a piece that would go here. And so far, all of these long pieces have been oriented kind of vertically, but then suddenly I thought, maybe it's a long piece. So I went trawling through those and I put it horizontally, and lo and behold, it fit. And I thought, sneaky. But actually, once I'd figured that out, I knew, or I had a feeling, that it would be the same in the opposite corner. And that corner. And that corner. And in fact, there's like a little kind of almost a square of the tall ones. And by doing that, by noticing that, I was able to fill out these gaps a little quicker. So what I'm going to do now is try and fill out these corner parts and try and go up to the very edge of the circle on all 4 sides. Then that will allow me to get rid of some of these kind of funny shaped ones that are at the edge of the circle. And I'll just be really, by that point, whittling down the piles of pieces, and hopefully, I think that this still might take a wee while filling out the outer edges of the circle, but hopefully, having got rid of a lot of the other pieces, I'm hoping that comes together fairly quickly. I can still use shape to help me, you know, using the edges of the other pieces to kind of narrow down what's going to go there, but I'm not going to come back to the circle until I've filled out these little gaps. Right, ta-da! I have done the 4 corners, right up to the edge of the circle. And the circle is actually a big spiral, so that is why you have this bit that kind of abruptly stops here, because it spirals its way around like a big snake. So yeah, all I have now is to sort out these curved pieces, which is good. I still have quite a lot of pieces left, but what I've done is I've done a little bit of a rejig of the pieces. This box here had all the pieces in that I could see a curve in, but there were obviously still some with curves in the other boxes. So I've now amalgamated that into all one box, and I've sorted it into shape. But I've not placed them all in the same direction. I've tried to place them in the way that it looks like they're curving. So if the circle was like that, I've sort of placed that one like that and that one like that. But there are some that are pointed to the right, and I've tried to do it that way.
because I'm obviously puzzling a circle now, so I think that might be an easier way to do it. I'm not certain whether I'm going to go in from the outside or out from the inside. What I have noticed is that the pieces are more squished in the middle, and on the outside of the circle they are much taller and chunkier. So these really large pieces here, like this one for example, or I don't know, say that one, these chunky pieces compared with the thinner ones, the narrower ones like that one, or there's a couple that down here, it's kind of smaller ones. My best guess is that the chunkier ones will be on the outside and the smaller ones on the in. I haven't sorted them that way, but they're pretty easy to pick out just with the eye. So if I start, for example, from the inside going out, I will be kind of glancing over the pieces and looking out for smaller ones like this, and they will gradually get bigger. So I think I might actually go from the inside and try and work my way out. And if I get stuck, I can always swap around and change it up a bit. But yeah, oh, it's a slow process, but it is definitely getting there. I really would like to finish this today, but it's currently 9:15 p.m. where I am in Scotland, and yeah, I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be at it, so I hope it's not a really late night, but we'll soon find out. So yeah, continuing on with the circle, and I'm going to go from the inside of the circle and try and work my way out, and we'll see how it goes. Oh, I'm starting to feel fatigued. I'm so close, but it's still going so slowly. I've just got those pieces left, and those pieces left, and those pieces left, and it is, I think, midnight on the, I don't even know what date we are. Midnight on the 14th of January, going into the 15th of January. I'm determined to get this finished. I really want to get it finished. It's just so hard. It's really hard. Just a slow pace, pretty much all the way through. But I am getting there. As you can see, I will fill up those white bits, and hopefully it won't be in another hour's time. I'll get back to you on that one. Did it! I finished my first crypt puzzle and my first ever solid colour puzzle. I feel such a sense of achievement. And I did it without the cheat sheet. Look, see? It is still sealed in the envelope. But just for your information, I will open it just now and I will show you what the cheat sheet looks like. And I know some people do use this because it is a really, really difficult puzzle, and I totally don't blame anybody who does use it, because it can get frustrating
on occasion. So on the back of the puzzle box, there's also kind of a cheat sheet. It's just a picture of the puzzle layout. The sheet is basically an A4 piece of paper, but it's not coloured in. So hoping you can see that. So it just gives you the grid and it shows you what shape piece goes in what place. So if you do decide to do this puzzle, then this is something you can fall back on if it just becomes a little too taxing for you. So that's really good. That's really good that they put that in there, but I didn't have to use it. Thankfully, I did manage it, and I'm really, really pleased that I managed to do it without the cheat sheet. So before I summarise my kind of thoughts on this puzzle, I just wanted to tell you that it took me, now then, how long did it take me? Around 11.5 hours to build, which I don't think's too bad. I've never done a solid colour one before, or a crypt for that matter, so I have no comparison really, but I'm pleased with that. So I will take that, and that was over 4 days. So yeah, not too bad at all. I'm really, really glad I sorted the pieces. I think the whole thing would have been hellish if I hadn't. And another thing that really helped me was there's a certain element of symmetry to this puzzle. So you've obviously got the circle in the middle, but the layout of the pieces, even though every piece is unique and it's not kind of exactly symmetrical, if I found that there was, for example, a long tall piece, say in the corner, if there's like a cluster of long tall pieces in one of the corners, I'm trying to take one out so I can show you, like a piece like that, I sort of figured out from having done the puzzle for a little while that there was likely to be a cluster of long and tall pieces in all the other corners as well. So because there was a pattern that I was noticing throughout the whole build, it helped me to build it quicker and not be kind of painstakingly labouring over one bit for too long. There were aspects of that, but there wasn't too much of it for me. And I think that particular aspect of doing a solid colour puzzle where it's like shape sorting and you just trial and error testing each piece one after the other, that is the bit that becomes monotonous for me. The only time this became monotonous was in the bottom, in all the corners just outside the circle. There were a little group of just kind of standard shaped pieces. They weren't weird looking or any different, and it really was just a case of back and forth in the box, just trying all the pieces out, and that did get a bit boring. But I mean, it didn't last very long. There weren't particularly huge sections where I had to do that, so it was fine. And it was good. So, I mean, looking at this puzzle, I can't help but marvel at it. It's just so beautiful. I mean, I love the vivid pink colour, and just the whole idea of having a circle in the middle of it and all the different funky shaped pieces in the different sizes, just they almost make the puzzle look as if there is a picture, even though there isn't a picture in the usual sense. And I just think that added a whole different element of interest to it. And I think that this puzzle, in my opinion, the thing I enjoyed the most about it is that it forces you to think about what you're doing. It's sort of like a puzzle within a puzzle. Like, obviously you're doing a jigsaw puzzle and you're putting the pieces together, but when I was doing it, my mind was just working out all the time, where could these pieces go? What's likely to go next to them? Have they arranged this in a pattern so that they've also done the same thing over here? And I really was kind of using my logical brain a lot, and I really enjoyed it. I really did. It wasn't easy by any stretch, but it was easier than I thought for that very reason, because there were patterns to be found and I utilised them to my advantage when I was building it. And I think if this was just a solid colour puzzle with the standard ribbon cut going across all the way through it, I think I found it tedious after a while, but I didn't find this tedious at all. Now, The pink one and I think the silver version of the crypt are the exact same cut, and as far as I am aware, they're slightly easier to do than the black and gold ones. Black and gold are also the same cut as each other, but they're slightly harder to do. I will get to those at some point. It's my goal eventually to do all the crypt puzzles, but I'm going to take a break from that particular those particular puzzles for a while, because, you know, this just really kind of tired me out. But what I do have that I would like to show you, that I'm going to do, is this one. Yeah, it's another crypt puzzle, but it is the gradient version of the crypt puzzle. And I've when I bought the pink one and I was putting pictures of it up on social media, a lot of people were, you know, commenting and discussing about it, and the gradient one kept coming up in conversation, and I thought, well, actually, I can get hold of the gradient here in the UK. I know that some countries struggle to get hold of the gradient Ravensburger Krypt, and I thought, well, I can get hold of it, and actually I'm really enjoying the pink one, so I might just give the gradient one a try. So I bought it. I bought it for myself, and I am going to do this at some future point. And I'm really looking forward to it, actually, because I've never actually done a gradient puzzle before either. I'm so behind in the puzzling world. But that ties in nicely to the last bit of this video that I wanted to do, and that was just to give you a little sneak peek of some of the puzzles that I have planned to do this year, and I'm very, very excited. So on the subject of gradients, I have the Ravensburger gradient, obviously, because I just showed you that, but I also have another gradient. It is the 1000-piece Cloudberries gradient puzzle. I've had my eye on their gradient puzzles for ages and ages and ages and ages, and I've done a few different Cloudberries puzzles, but I finally got round to buying myself a gradient, and I'm going to have a go at that as well, and I've now got 2 gradient puzzles to be getting on with, so look out for that in the coming year. What else have I got? Right, okay, so this one I've actually had for a little while. This puzzle is going to be my part 2, my second bonus video for the Disney Orchestra puzzle. And the reason that it is related to the Disney Orchestra puzzle is because it is the Disney Orchestra puzzle. It's the 1000-piece version of it. Those of you who subscribe to my channel and have watched all my videos will know I did the 13,200-piece version of this puzzle. And I knew there was a smaller version of it, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do the smaller one and just see how it compares, and maybe even just put it beside my giant puzzle and just look at the crazy comparison in size between the two. So I have been holding on to this for a little while and still haven't got round to doing it, but this is definitely one I'm going to do this year as well, as my bonus, my second bonus video for the Disney Orchestra puzzle. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And I do actually have another Monotony panorama puzzle, which I purchased recently. Now, this was a bit of a whim purchase, and it's completely self-indulgent. I will show you and I will explain. So this is 1000 pieces, it's Monotony puzzle, it's panorama like the Disney one that I just showed you, and it is of The Witcher and the 3 main characters in The Witcher. Now, if you don't know what The Witcher is, it is a TV series on Netflix. It's a fantasy series. I'm a big fan of fantasy. And it actually started out, The Witcher, as books. And it got turned into a game, like on the games consoles, like the PlayStation and the Xbox and things. And I actually was introduced to it through one of the games, which I really enjoyed playing, like completely immersed myself in that. When I discovered there were books, I also read the books, and then, of course, they brought out the Netflix TV series. And so not only was it something that I already loved going onto the TV screen, but as an added bonus, it stars Henry Cavill, who plays The Witcher, and he's also a fan of the games, and he wanted to play the main character. So it's just, I was watching this, the second season of it just came out just before Christmas, and I was watching it, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if there was a Witcher puzzle? And I had a look on Amazon and there was, so I bought it, and I am going to do this puzzle, and it's just going to be pure enjoyment and self-indulgence for me, doing a jigsaw puzzle, which I love, with Henry Cavill in it, and of The Witcher, which I also love. So that one's going to be good fun. Right, okay, so I'm moving along now to the large puzzles. I have some more large piece count puzzles for you this year. This one it's been on my wish list for a little while. I've been wanting to do it for quite a while, and I saw it on Amazon and it wasn't too expensive, and I thought, yeah, I'm just gonna get that. I'm just gonna get that for myself. I really would like to try it. And it is the Educa Entering the Bedroom jigsaw puzzle. 6,000 pieces. Now, that'll be a first for me. I have not actually done an Educa puzzle as yet. So I will see what that's like. I've heard a lot of things. People have told me a lot of things about Educa, and I honestly don't see why I wouldn't like it, to be fair. But I just thought the image on this is so gorgeous. All the animals and everything, and just the way they're coming out of a picture on the wall. I could just stare at it for ages. It's just so lovely. So I was super glad when this arrived at my door, and I'm really looking forward to doing that one as well. So that will be my second 6,000 piece puzzle on this channel. The first one being the Clementoni Venice sunset that I did, which I loved as well. So I'm really hoping that I'll have a similarly good experience with that one. And of course, I have shown you this before, but there is also my, it's heavy, 9,000 piece Disney Museum Ravensburger puzzle still to do. Now, I have not started this yet, but you will have noticed from me lifting it up just there that it has been opened. I'll take the lid off just to prove it. I have opened it, and in fact, I have mixed the bags. The bags have been opened and they've been mixed. It comes in 2 lots of 4,500 bags, and I've mixed them. So it's too late to go back now. At some point, I am going to have to start this puzzle and sort through 9,000 pieces. Eek. But this is getting started very soon. I cannot wait to start filming this. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do it as maybe 2 or 3 parts, like I did with the other large one, the Disney Orchestra. I did that in sort of, I don't know, it was about 5 parts, I think. This one I may well do the same, otherwise it might be quite a long video, but yeah, it's been opened and it's been mixed, and I'm ready to rock and roll with it, basically. So this will be done this year as well. So there's just so much to look forward to, so much puzzling to look forward to this year. The other thing I have still to do that I've actually had for ages and still not got round to doing it, I've actually got some Lego. I've done a little bit of Lego on this channel. It's mostly puzzles, but I have something a bit different. It's a Harry Potter Lego, and it's the Hogwarts school crests. It was sort of like a puzzle. It's more like a mosaic, I suppose. You have little dots and you put them onto the board and it makes the Hogwarts school crest, and you can do all 4. And I've had this since well before Christmas, and I just still haven't got round to doing it. So I'm thinking at some point I may well do a Lego video, which I haven't done in a long time. So that'll be fun. But yeah, that's it really. I've not got any more new puzzles to show you. I'm sure I will be purchasing more as the year goes on, and I will keep you posted on the new puzzles that I get. But yeah, let me know. What did you think of the Pink KRYPT puzzle? Which crypt puzzle would you like to have a go at? Would you try a crypt puzzle? And let me know as well in the comments which of these puzzles that I've just shown you you are looking forward to seeing me do the most. Otherwise, I wish you all a very happy new year. I know we're sort of midway through January now, but still a happy new year to one and all, and thank you for watching. Please give a like and subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you in the next video.